Guys, what is up? It is I, Wong Paris, and I'm back with another digital art video for you guys. So this one is really special because it's a transformer. I'm pretty much going to show you guys the walkthrough. I'm also going to be commentating over my process and how I make my transformer characters. Now this, as you all know, this is my second one. The second one is called Helios, named after the Greek god of light. So I'll be talking more about that later on in this video. But yeah, without further ado, let's get started. So here's my second transformer, Helios. Alright. So as usual, if you guys ever get annoyed by my commentary, you could simply just mute the video. Okay, it's really that simple. For those of you who do enjoy the commentary, then obviously keep listening. Alright, because I do go over some techniques of my own on how I create my digital characters, 3D models. Also, you guys really don't have to watch this whole entire video. You could simply skip to the next chapter. You can do that by clicking on the time code below in the description. So if you guys ever want to skip, I included a chapter skip selection in the description. Alright, as always. I usually do this with my long videos. Alright, so anyways, let's get started. I can't wait for this. So sorry about this. This video has been long overdue. Okay, I've actually finished Helios many months ago. I just never had the time to create this video until now. So yeah, so here it is. Enjoy. Alright, so as with every single digital art video, or mostly every single one, when it comes to characters, even masks, I always go over references. Alright, so you guys know the aesthetic of what I'm going for. So here are the references for Helios. There's actually 2 pages because it's that massive of a character. So when it comes to references, I'm gonna remind you guys every single time because it is extremely important. When it comes to references, it doesn't mean that your creativity is weak as an artist. In fact, many great masters out there use reference. Reference is extremely important because it gets your mind going. Alright, when you're creating something based on life, when you're creating things based on things that already exist, such as these armor pieces right here, or not armor, I mean motor parts, these glass objects right here, the syringe looking thing. When you're basing something off of real life, you will achieve realism. I kid you not. Okay. So of course it's also important to include some fancy, fiction references, so you guys get a good way to visualize your piece based on other people's work. So you could obviously see here, these are the fantasy references. Fancy meaning not real. So these obviously don't exist in real life, at least not yet. So these are creations by other people. All right, these are concept work. And I included them here because it fits along the aesthetic, the style that I envisioned for Helios. Alright? So yeah, reference is important. Please use it. You have the whole internet. The decades ago, no one had access to the internet because the internet wasn't invented. Alright, so you have full access to the internet. Please do your research or look up some images first. Print them out. Sketch your design first before you do anything. Alright, so it's always good to have some sort of preparation stage for all of this. Alright, so when it comes to Helios, I envisioned Helios to be somewhat of a god-like transformer. Now, as you all know, the transformers that I create, that I will be planning on creating, these aren't transformers that are from the movies or from the Transformers universe. Okay, these are my self-designed transformers. I thought of them from the ground up. So I just love transformers, okay, pretty much, and I like making my own. Now Helios marks as my second one. Okay, my first one being Monsoon. Do you guys remember that? That was actually a while back. It's almost a year since I've made that. Monsoon was the transformer that transforms into my car in real life. So Helios is quite different. Alright, and I'll pretty much explain more later on. But so yeah, here's the reference for that. I envisioned Helios to be, like I said, a god of light. Alright, Obviously, his name is based off of the Greek god Helios, and again, that is the god of light. So I've had this idea where, what if this transformer was responsible for creating all light in the universe or in planet Earth or anywhere. So I had that imagination going on. So I was like, I should make one. I should make a transformer that's very godlike. All right. Now, it's kind of interesting when it comes to transformers, because if you guys have seen the movies, or if you guys are familiar with the universe, transformers have existed since the beginning of time. So I think Helios is an interesting idea to do, because to me, at least, he's based on my own vision. I think Helios, in terms of mythology, I think Helios is one of the first transformers that were created. All right, and he's pretty much responsible for emitting light or giving light to the universe. So with that in mind, I was so excited to start. So I wanted Helios to have a lot of parts relating to light. So you could see here. I think this. I don't know if this is from Halo. I don't think so. Is it? Because I recognize the emblem from somewhere. But anyways, I looked up references on a railgun, because I wanted Helios to have somewhat of a railgun that shoots light. Okay, so that weapon that he's gonna have is pretty much as powerful as the sun. So imagine all the light in the sun squeezed, crunched up, and squeezed into this gun. That's his arm, his left arm, to be more exact. So that's why I have a picture of a railgun there. Now here are some solar panels. Now I ended up modeling some solar panels later on, and to me it just didn't feel it didn't really look good on Helios, so I took it out. But obviously that's obviously quite, it's obvious. It's solar panels. They capture light energy, all right? And for Helios, a machine that runs on light, it's obvious that you would include some sort of solar panel. But I ended up not including it later. So pretty much all these pieces all relate to light. You can see here, these are just machinery pieces right here, but these are part of the kitbashing system that I'm sure you guys are familiar of, because I did mention what that is in my first Transformer character video. Alright, so yeah, I'll go over the kitbashing too in a sec, but let's go over the reference first, because reference is important. So here's also some glass pieces. When I was designing Helios in my mind, I wanted every single part, or I wanted him to have the god aesthetic. He is the god of light, so in a sense you kind of have to think of ways to implement light through design. Okay, so I thought of a way to do that, and I was thinking of creating glass parts for Helios. So here's some reference for glass. Here's a sculpture of a head out of glass. So glass was something I think will look extremely cool on this particular transformer inspired character that I created in my mind. Alright, so again, more railguns to see, so I know what it looks like. Of course, mine's is gonna look completely different from this. For when it comes to Helios, his head, I wanted his head to look similar to this. I just love how the shape, I actually don't know what to call this shape. I'm sure you guys have seen it in various sci-fi movies or games. This is like the standard drone. Drone head. All right. So it also has like a huge head right here. It's like the Predator, pretty much. Set of eyes right here. That's pretty much how I wanted Helios to be. So that's why I included this awesome reference. This just looks cool, so I included it there. And speaking of Helios, he's in no sides. So when it comes to modeling Helios, I remember I modeled the Decepticon emblem as well as the Autobot emblem, and I cut them in half and I combined them. So Helios, you would expect that Helios is pure good. Well, he's not. he's actually in no sides, and the reason why I made him in no sides is because since him being a god, as you all know, when it comes to Greek gods, if you guys have read, if you guys know your research, or if you guys know your history, when it comes to the Greek gods were really not all good. Like, they were known to be messing with humanity, and to me, in my opinion, that's not really something a god would do in the first place. So I figured I'd make Helios good and bad, because like the Greek gods, they're like people, you know. The Greek gods were literally like people. They make a bunch of mistakes. They bred with humans, you know, all that stuff. So it's really cool. So I obviously implemented a lot of Greek styled design, aesthetic, you know, all that stuff to Helios, because that's pretty much the idea behind this Transformer character. That's the design. Okay, I want this to look very angelic. I want this to look very Greek to some extent. So Helios is one of those characters that I've thought of in my head that's so well designed that I just had to bring it to life. But yeah, that's that for this page. So here again, these are just a bunch of pistons, you know, motor, just so I can get my inspiration going on. My inspiration going when I'm modeling these pieces in Maya, the Kitbash pieces. So the second page is a little more basic. You can obviously tell here these are more. I think I made this reference page because of the wings. Yeah, because I remember I wanted the Helios to have wings, and I didn't think of that till the last second. So I created a second reference sheet just for that. So here is actually a good this is actually a good resemblance of what Helios will look like. You can obviously tell in the final renders at the end of the video. This actually looks similar to what I had in mind for Helios. All right. So here's a cool set of wings. I think this is from the Transformers movie. I don't know whose wings these are. I think it's the Vulture. Do you guys remember that on the third Transformer movie? So that looks cool. I kept that for inspiration. Why is this moving slow? Of course, there's Gundam right there. I remember I haven't watched Gundam, so I don't know anything about Gundam, but I do like how the wings are designed here. So when I was creating this reference sheet, I was pretty much just mixing up some ideas on wings, because it's kind of hard to design wings for a robotic styled character, because first off, wings are a bit tricky to create, in my opinion, because they're organic. They belong from birds, you know, from stuff like that. When you put it onto a robot, it's kind of hard to design it at first, you know, so you kind of have to brainstorm a bit. So here's a good diagram of how a wing works in terms of mechanics. So this is obviously not a real wing. This is more of a machine. So I use this as a reference. Really good reference right there. And of course, here is the Autobot symbol. Like I said, I did model this in Maya. Here's also, I'm not sure what this is. I don't know where this is from, but I like how the wings are glass too. So later on, you'll see Helios with his wings on, you know, all finished with glass on it. All right, so that's that for reference. So now let's move on. Let's start. We're about to go to Maya, and I'll show you guys the pieces, the Kitbashing pieces that make up Helios. All right, guys. So here we are in Maya. You'll notice here are the Kitbash pieces. Now, just a review, if you guys don't remember what Kitbashing is simply the art of combining basic things together to make something complicated. Guys get that? So, a great example of kitbashing, traditional kitbashing, where you actually use real life parts, is the Millennium Falcon and the old Star Wars movies. All right. I saw a video on how they did it. They just took, random pipes, bolts, screws, pretty much just junk, and that's pretty much how the Millennium Falcon is made. So that's kitbashing. It's pretty much just putting things together to make it look good. That's that. So same thing with 3D modeling. I modeled a couple of parts. So all of this right here, all these pieces right here, these is what make up Helios. I mean, it's kind of hard to visualize it, right? Because these are just extremely basic parts that anyone can model. All right. Let me turn on the wireframe. These are so simple. Like anyone can make these. If you know Maya, if you know basic Maya, basic modeling, you guys can do these. All right. Putting them together in such a way that makes them look good is a bit tricky. All right. But if you guys have ever played with Legos, think of it like that. You have a bunch of simple blocks, and you have the ability to make anything from them. All right. Like you can make anything from them. You can build complicated pieces from simple pieces, and that's pretty much what kitbashing is all about. All right. So I did mention earlier on the references page, or the references, that I mentioned earlier that I wanted most of the parts to be light related. Okay, so you notice here that I made some standard wirings, some tubes, so pretty standard. I mean, nothing special, right? Here's another one here. Here's a pipe actually. And here's a gear with a lot of I don't know what you call these, legs, I guess, hinges. This piece is actually quite interesting because I actually don't know what it is. All right, it's not really a motor. It's more like it's like a plasma container. All right, because at the end of the video, you'll see this piece in many areas of Helios. Okay, you would actually see that this part here. Let me highlight it for you guys. All this right here, the highlighted areas, this will actually glow. Alright, so I did mention that I wanted the pieces to be light related. So this piece in particular, as well as this, that, and that, some of these pieces are actually going to emit light. So they're going to glow. So it's going to look really cool on Helios. But yeah, that's that. There's another version of the plasma container. You guys can call it whatever you want, but I'm calling it plasma container right now. Actually, you know what did I call this? Let me check. Oh, core, plasma core, I guess. But yeah, that's that. It's another version, just more fatty. This one is interesting because I combined the plasma core concept onto a piston. So this is actually a piston right here. Here's another piston. And here is like a plasma core tower. So as you can tell, kitbashing is really ridiculous because you really don't have to be exact with what parts you're going to make. They could be anything. What matters is how you're going to use them in the end. All right, and you guys will see that close up later on after this. So here's another core. Instead, with this one, I implemented some vents. All right, so this is actually going to look cool later on. Here's another type of gear. It actually looks similar to this one. Oh no! Oh wait, never mind. It doesn't. This one's more rigid, I guess. The points, it's pretty much like a saw blade, to some extent. Here is a lead piece. You can see that it's just an orb. This will serve as the eyes and other glowing emitting areas of Helios in his body. So this can be an eye, this can be anything. It's pretty much just a glowing piece. Now this piece here is quite interesting because it's actually just a segment of a finger. You guys will see later on that I will actually combine and duplicate these over and over to make one whole hand. So this right here is pretty much the whole hand in the most basic form ever. This piece, I don't even know what this is. This is like same thing with the plasma core. The squares in here, or the rectangles, will glow. Okay, so I don't know what this is here. Let me what did I name? Oh, it's a lead piece. That's all I called it. But yeah, that's that. Here is the solar panel that I was talking about. I actually modeled a solar panel, but I ended up not using it because it just doesn't look good. And not to mention solar panels, they're mostly blue, And Helios, in terms of color, he doesn't have any blue on him. So adding blue on the overall body of Helios will just make it look weird. When it comes to concept, you know, the color, I usually think of what the color is first before I texture the character model later on. Now, like I said, the solar panel will not look good because I wanted Helios to be white, mostly white with some gray, and the parts that will be emitting from him will be yellow. Alright, so it'll be like the color of the sun. So all those pieces that I said that we're gonna emit, those are gonna emit a yellow light. So if you can imagine file, you know, character, like I said, I wanted it to look godly. And colors, you have to get the colors right if you want to, if you want it to like provoke some sort of emotional connection to it, I guess. But yeah, that's kitbashing. So those are pretty much the basic pieces that will make up Helios. So now let's transfer to ZBrush and let's get started on Helios. So I'll show you guys my process and how I created him, starting with just these parts. Alright guys, here we are on ZBrush. As you all know, everything great starts with just a sphere. So we're not gonna go onto the kitbashing yet because that's later on. What I'm doing here right now is I'm simply just creating the base metal. Alright, so the base metal is just my way of, it's just what I call the rough out of the transformer. So I think here, I believe this is the head. Yep, this is the head. So I started off with just a sphere. I turned on, what's it called? I forgot it's not clay polish. I pretty much used that feature that allows you to make whatever it is you're modeling into like somewhat of like a clay sculpture. All right. I can't believe, why do I blank out in the most important times? But I'm sure you guys, you know what I'm talking about. The ones who do know ZBrush, who are familiar with ZBrush, I'm sure you guys know what feature I'm talking about. So here we're just roughing things out, like I said. Just getting some basic shapes. Right now I'm just concepting what the head will look like. Now for the final head, I remember I thought of this at the last second. I wanted the final head to pretty much, you know, to have like a visor over it. So that visor is going to be made of glass. Dynamesh, there you go, that's what I'm talking about. Wow. Yeah, Dynamesh. If you guys turn on Dynamesh in your ZBrush, it pretty much remeshes the mesh for you. So you could pretty much build anything you want. You could sculpt anything you want, remesh it, Dynamesh it, I mean. And it's just a good tool. If you guys want to learn more about Dynamesh, just look up some videos here on YouTube for a more in-depth explanation. Alright. But since we're dealing with organic shapes, like as we're doing here, using Dynamesh is something really... using Dynamesh when it comes to making weird shapes, such as these right here, is really such a good help. Dynamesh lets you be more creative. It allows you to have more freedom when it comes to concepting, especially if you're just starting out. So here I'm building the neck pieces. So this process here obviously will take a while, but I'm pretty much showing you guys the whole entire process for this entire transformer character from the ground up. So for those of you who are watching this, you guys should be lucky, because not a lot of artists reveal how they make, you know, not a lot of artists out there reveal how they make their particular masterpieces. Well, I'm here to hopefully teach you guys something. Even though this isn't mask making, it's still something interesting, because maybe one day you guys will get into character modeling or 3D modeling, because that's the age that we live in today, is digital art. All right, that's the sad truth. Now there's not a lot of people out there who do traditional art anymore, especially in the industries. So this is the future, this is the present, this is digital art. I think this is something I feel like this is something everyone should know. because you really can't survive out there if you're just a painter. You know, you really can't. You're not gonna make enough money to support yourself and your family, in my opinion. So you gotta have some sort of digital blood in you to get a job, to get a career that will pay good. So anyways, here is the core of the body. So again, unlike, if you guys compare, once you guys see the finished version of Helios, once you guys compare that to my first transformer character that I created, which was Monsoon, you would notice the different aesthetics for each one. You would notice that Monsoon, my first transformer, has more of a spiky and edgy look to it. If you guys remember that video, I modeled the Kitbashing pieces so that they would resemble, you know, sharp objects, you know, like a chainsaw blade, a saw blade, you know, anything pretty much sharp and slicing. That's pretty much what populates Monsoon, because he's an evil character. He's a Decepticon. As for Helios, if you want him to make, since I want him to look godly, very light, you know, when I mean light, I'm talking about like light as in the light spectrum. But I want him to look very godly, very Greek like. I really want people to look at him, and I want people to know that he's the god of light. So how do I do that? Well, it all boils down to the pieces. All right. You really can't make Helios have a lot of parts to him that make him look evil, because he's not an evil character. He's part evil and part good. He's one of those characters. He's in no sides. So yeah, that's the theme for this transformer pretty much, is light. Even the name has something to do with light. So here, I believe that's the pelvis, or oh wait, no, that's still the upper body, I believe. So now we're doing the shoulder. So you can obviously tell, this isn't, please don't mistake this as kitbashing. This is not kitbashing. Actually, you know what? It is, to some extent, because you're just roughing out concepts. You're combining simple pieces to make it look something complicated. Actually, you know what? This is kitbashing. But we're not obviously using the parts that I created in Maya for this. This is all ZBrush right here. So here, I wanted this transformer to have a movable shoulder blade, which is something Monsoon didn't have. So I'll go over that with you guys later on in rigging. So that's at the end of the video. So here we're just continuing with the base metal of the whole body, the arms. Alright, this is extremely rough. What I'm going to do later on is actually remesh, retopologize all those pieces right there. Because right now, you're working with a lot of polys right now, which is something not good if you're going to import into Maya. So you kind of have to remesh it. As a 3D modeler, you need to know how to remesh. Okay, it's not just concepting and sculpting. You need to know the technicals too. So here, the left arm is where the railgun is going to be. So I'm just concepting. Right now I'm just concepting the forearms. In terms of the arms, you'll notice that they're a bit too big and too long. I wanted to exaggerate on that. I wanted him to look extremely muscular. You know, I wanted him to look buff, because he's a god, right? He's a transformer god. It's like as if, you know, God created a machine that you know, that's responsible for giving light all throughout the universe. This is probably what's gonna look like. So I'm just gonna show you guys a tip. When you guys are creating a character with a symbolic meaning or some sort of backstory bio behind him or something, it's important to know your character first in your head. Alright? so you know exactly what's gonna look like, how you're gonna do it. Now, of course, that's not the case for some 3D modelers, because some 3D modelers are really good at concepting ideas from their head in the heat of the moment. Well, in this case, this character right here. Pretty much all my characters that I've done, those aren't done at the heat of the moment. Those are actually well thought out characters that I've had for a while, and I'm just bringing them to life. Similar to my masks. Alright, you guys get what I mean by that? What I'm trying to say is, none of my characters are created in the same day. I usually have the backstory or symbolic meaning of the character or creature I'm creating before I start doing it in ZBrush and in Maya. Alright? So these are well thought out characters that I have that I've had for a while. So I've always wanted to do more Transformers. So my goal for this one is to make him look more complicated, look more, I guess, professional. If you compare him to Monsoon being my first Transformer that I've modeled in ZBrush and in Maya, that actually looked good. I didn't expect it to look that good. So now that I've grasped the art of kitbashing, I wanted to explore even further. So this is pretty much what I'm doing right now. So here's the feet. And as you can tell, I mean, he's starting to shape up, right? This is pretty much like the skeletal structure, which is funny because it does look like the skeleton based on how the shape and based on how some of the shapes look. So here I'm modeling just a quick palm. Here I'm modeling the rough railgun. So it's gonna be a massive weapon. Looks cool so far. I just love how I'm watching my own process with you guys, because it makes me want to create more things. You know, that's the basis of my videos. I wish that when you guys are watching my videos that you guys are actually learning something. Hopefully. And if you are learning something, hopefully I'm giving you guys the desire to learn more. You know, I want you guys to learn more. I want you guys to be more motivated as an artist, whether if you're a 3D artist or a traditional artist. So my goal is to show you guys my process always, so you know how I do things, so you can do them on your own. I want to help you guys. I want to teach you guys. So that's pretty much what I'm doing right now. Alright, so on this one, what I'm doing is I'm subdividing all the pieces so that they're really high poly, so I can smooth them out. So notice how the head is very edgy now, like it has a sharp edge to it. I'm simply using the polish brush to do that, and the clay polish, because you really don't want them to look like blobs, because that's not the point. I mean, because when it comes to Transformer characters, they're obviously all machines, so you kind of have to make the parts, you know, have a certain look to it, and you can do that by sharpening the edges, and that's what I'm doing right now. So it's simple polish tool allows you to do that with a combination of the clay polish. So you could obviously see, you can really start to see the metal, you know, the metal feel going. And some of you are probably wondering, why is it disappearing like that? That's just me in ZBrush hiding the pieces and only showing the one that I'm currently working on. That's just my way, you know. Like, that's just my way of like, it helps me, especially if you're dealing with the Transformer characters that has thousands of parts to it. It's kind of important to know how to do that in ZBrush. If you guys want to know how to do that, it's simply Control-Shift-Click on the object you want to hide or show only. So that's pretty much the process throughout this one right here. It's simply just me polishing up the pieces, and then later I will Retopol. Retopo being short for retopologize. Alright? When it comes to these digital art videos, I'm not expecting you guys to know exactly what I'm talking about. I really don't. So I always talk in these videos in such a way so that you guys will learn the basic terminology too. So yeah. And as always, if you guys do have any questions on this stuff, anything really, just ask, okay? You guys can actually send me an email, comment on this video, or send me a private message on my fan page. So either way works. I'm an open book. I'm not the type of guy that hides things from you guys, so ask away, you know? I'm here to help. So there's the basis of the railgun, based on the reference that I took from Google. And as you guys are watching this right now, as I'm recording this, I'm already in the works for my third Transformers character. Which is gonna be awesome because it's actually I'll give you guys a teaser. It's the opposite of this character. So whatever this character is, it's the opposite. Alright, so the theme for that is darkness, you know, evil. While Helios, this character right here, who's not finished yet, who's far from finished yet, Helios resembles light. Alright. So that's pretty much what my third Transformer character is gonna be. It's gonna have more of a creature aesthetic to it. So here on the last second, I'm creating the wings. So it's the same process. I'm just doing it the last second. So I'm pretty much just roughing out the shapes for the wings, and then polishing them later on. And you also notice that the face is flat. And like I said a couple minutes ago, I did say that I wanted his face to have like a visor that's out of glass, so you can see through his face and you can see all the wirings and stuff. So that was my idea for it. Here I'm just yeah, here it is. Is this it? Not sure what I'm doing here. I don't know what this piece is for. Oh, yes, of course. This is the... So now we've actually made the base metal, right? So what you guys are seeing here, not the piece that I'm creating, but the overall Transformer character as of now, that's the base metal. That's one material right there. Alright, now what I'm creating now is actually the wing segments that will be made out of glass. So imagine that being out of glass, it will look really good. So it's pretty much like a simple duplication. And now here we are creating, I'm creating the visor that I was talking about earlier. So that is going to be made of glass. And this part here, now we're doing so when I was designing this Transformer in my head, I had the idea to create a secondary set of pieces other than the base metal to add more complexity to the overall Transformer later on, or at the end. So what I'm creating here, whatever it is you guys are seeing here, every part that I'm creating here is gonna be out of glass. So it's gonna look really cool. Because like I said, I wanted Helios to have a particular visual aesthetic of a god that resembles light, that stands for light, that symbolizes light. So what do? You implement as much light-inducing particles in him, or light-inducing parts. As you all know, glass bends light. So I had this idea of creating a set of armor pieces for him that does that. So that's pretty much what I'm doing right now. So you'll notice that these are irregular blobs because I don't want the glass pieces to be really edgy, like the base metal. All right. Later on, you guys are also going to see me create the armor. Oh yeah, that's also one thing that I didn't go over at the beginning of this video. Helios will transform into a Chromeball. A Chromeball is a ball that's made of chrome, and it's actually used in a lot of VFX industries. Chromeball is pretty much used to capture the reflection, so you could map it later on to your 3D model. So there's a whole process to it, but that's pretty much what Helios is going to transform into, a chrome ball. Now it's kind of interesting because since the chrome ball is just a ball, it actually resembles more like the sun. So I think I like how that goes. How Helios, the god of light, transforms into somewhat like the shape of the sun. So I think that was a good way to, design that. So that the chrome ball, the armor pieces, those are pretty much gonna be all reflective, and you would see that later on in this video. So as you can see, Helios is starting to shape up right here. I'm just really adding more complexity to this thing, and we haven't even implemented the parts that I created in Maya. So the fact that it looks complicated now is good because it will look even more complicated later on. So hopefully you guys are learning something from this. All it is just making it's making what looks good. So it's all based on taste. So if you guys have a good taste with robots, then this should be easy for you to design, So here's more glass. So if you can visualize it right now, the blobs will be glass while the base metal is metal. So it actually looks really good in this early of stage, So more glass parts around the legs. So here I'm adding the elbows. Here's the kneecaps. That too will be made out of glass. So here we start on kitbashing, ladies and gentlemen. So we're gonna start on the head. So there's that finger segment that I was talking about. Notice how I didn't actually use it for the fingers. I use it as like the jaw. So that's what's cool about kitbashing, is that anything goes as long as it looks good. So you'll notice my process here is to do it on one side and then reflect it on the other. So I'm just adding tubes right here. You'll notice that the tubes are going through the piece. And the reason why I did that is so that, you know, you can see it later on. Because remember, that's going to be glass. That piece right there on top of the head, that's going to be out of glass. So you can actually see the wirings through the glass. So it's going to look really, really awesome. So here I'm adding his eyes. His eyes are literally just small specks of LEDs. So here again we're adding some, or now we're on the neck. So notice how I'm pretty much populating the empty spaces based on the parts that I created. That's pretty much what all kitbashing is, guys. Like, it's so awesome to just do this. You know, you can really create some awesome things with kitbashing based on just simple parts. So you see how that piece right there ended up becoming like the back part of the torso. Like I said before, anything goes, like as long as it looks cool. Notice how I'm using the same piece over and over, but I'm reshaping them to my own will. Here I'm building up the base of the wings. Adding some more things to the torso. So look how it's already starting to shape up, guys. Like, this is just awesome. And also, kitbashing. Remember, keep in mind, kitbashing is simply just populating the empty areas. So wherever you see like an empty space, like in the arms or in the torso, in the head, the waist, that's pretty much where a kitbash piece is going to be. Alright? So think of it like that. So here are the wings. Here I'm building the shoulders. Looks really good, man. I don't know why I'm acting like I've never seen this before. I mean, it's done. I mean, I've seen it in action. It's in my demo reel when I graduated. It's just seeing the process in time lapse. It's just awesome because it's so simple. Like, you guys can do this. You know, I know you guys can do this. So here I'm adding some protruding wires. Also adding some, notice how I'm using, what do you call it? The plasma cores that I created from Maya earlier. Notice how I'm using that for different purposes. So that one became the shoulder, while the ones before that became like the outlet for the wires. Like I said, I'll say it again, anything goes when it comes to kitbashing, as long as it looks good. Just have an open mind when you guys are doing this. That's probably my best advice for you guys. If you played with Legos, then it's like that, alright? You don't really have to take it seriously. As long as it looks good. Any part can be anything. And here it is, here's the finger segment. Notice how I did that quite fast. All I did was use one finger segment and duplicated it, and that's how I got the fingers. So here's the fun part. I'm creating the his railgun. So I wanted this to look really massive. I wanted this to look like it was capable of destroying a city with its light, you know, power. So I really want this to look good. Here's the hips. You also have to keep in mind that when you're building something like this when you're building something this complicated, you have to keep in mind how you're gonna rig it later on. So notice how I'm kitbashing everything according to its particular area, because I know how I'm gonna rig this. So notice how I'm just taking it step by step, knowing where to put the pieces. There's a piston right there. Adding more wires. You can never have too many wires. So you would notice that if you guys are counting, which you're probably not, I've used the same piece over and over many times. So as long as you reshape them, it will not look repetitive. That's the thing about kitbashing. Don't make it look too, you know, repetitive. Now here I'm pretty much, so these pieces right here, these pieces here I modeled in Maya actually very quickly, and these pieces are actually the parts of the Chromeball. Alright, so these pieces are highly reflective. So not only we have glass parts in Helios, but we also have very reflective parts. So notice how everything is based off of light. All these parts right here react to light in a different way. So obviously the mirror bounces light while the glass refracts light. It bends light. So do you guys see what I'm trying to do here? Like every piece, like the theme and aesthetic for this transformer is light. So you would obviously have as many things in this thing that resembles light. Alright? This too is fun. The pieces right now act as the armor. Alright, so I'm trying to put it as many areas as I can. And we're almost done, guys. And that's Helios. Later on we'll be texturing this too, and as always the texturing will be really fast. So the only areas where I'm gonna add texture, I think, is the Chromeball pieces, which is the pieces that we're doing right now. That will have somewhat like a scratch metal, because it is out of, you know, at least the one that I have. It has like brushed metal textures to it, so that's the same. That's pretty much what I'm gonna do. Here it is, guys. Here's Helios. It looks extremely epic. Wow. You gotta learn how to have pride with your own work, because that's the only way to, you know, that's the only way for you to not lose interest in what you're doing. So always pause, take a look, and take a step back to your masterpiece, so you can see what it looks like from a different perspective. So here I'm just adding some rough textures on the base metal, so it doesn't look too perfect. I'm adding some subtle scratches. I actually don't know if you guys can see that. You guys should be watching this in 1080p, by the way. Not just this video, but all my videos here on YouTube. So here I'm separating the parts based on, you know, material. So right now I'm just adding some quick textures right now. Texturing is really easy, guys, okay? So adding the bump, the scratches, that's really easy. That's why it always takes that's why it's always fast when it comes to these kinds of videos. So here there's the Chromeball, you guys see that? So here I'm just adding the textures. So now we're done, guys. So this is what the Chromeball looks like in Mental Ray in Maya, okay? So here's the turntable. This is rendered again in Mental Ray, Maya 2014. Here's what Helios looks like, all done. There's the ambient occlusion, so you can see all the details without the textures. Here's the Chromeball again. So that's what he transforms into, pretty much. A Chromeball. Here's Helios with the metal. And then there's the ambient occlusion. It's awesome, right? I love it. Can't wait to work on my third transformer. So again, the Chromeball is used in HDRI photography, and it's also used in VFX. If you guys want to know, if you guys want more info on that, just look it up on Google. So here are the renders, the still renders, like the character sheets, the turnarounds. These are high-res images, so that's why you guys see the black bars, because they don't actually fit the resolution for this video. But yeah, there's a close-up of Helios. Again, here's the ambient occlusion, showing out the details, the crevices. If you compare this to my first Transformer character, this is obviously the best one so far. There's just so much things going on. It's a huge improvement. And here's the wireframe. This is an image that I should be doing for all my character models from now on, is showing the wireframe. Alright, and here's also the breakdown of the parts, you know, which is cool. And here's the transformation sheet. Again, I'm gonna start doing this for my Transformer characters. It's pretty much a rough way to show how this thing transforms. And I'm also gonna show you guys the transformation on a separate Maya file at the end of this video. Alright, so again, everything is in the chapter skips. So if you guys want to skip ahead, go ahead. Here's Helios, guys. Ridiculously awesome. I'm proud of this. A lot of people actually liked it on my fan page, so it got a lot of support. At least I know that it works. Like it's doing what it needs to be doing. Like like everyone likes it, meaning I did my job. So again, here's the wireframe to show your work, pretty much, to show that it's capable of use in Maya and production. Here's the breakdown of the parts. This is actually an image that I uploaded in my digital art album. This too. So again, all these images you guys can actually see on my digital art photo album in my fan page, as well as of course in my website. You will also notice that the parts are glowing. You know, like I told you guys at the beginning of this video, that there will be parts that will emit a glow. Well, here it is. You guys see that? The yellow. Here's the ambient occlusion yet again. I'm showing you guys these renders extensively because this is the final piece. So we spent a whole lot of time on how I created the Transformer character. Well, now we need to spend more time on the renders, the final renders, what it looks like at the end. And we're about to go to my favorite section of this video, is showing off the Keyshot renders. So what you guys are about to see were all rendered in Keyshot, which is not Maya. It's pretty much a program that uses your model, and it renders it out for you in its own system. So it's just a quick way to showcase your character models. Now you would notice that when you're a 3D artist, you actually have to well, you don't have to, but you can. You could actually take your image into Photoshop and manipulate it a bit. So you would notice that the lens flares that you guys see right there, those are actually done in Photoshop. So the particle effects, that's done in Photoshop, but the overall render itself is in Keyshot. All right, and the color correction too. So here's Helios in Keyshot. He looks more lively because he is in a real environment. So that's how I got those reflections on his armor. So that's a beastly image right there, by the way. So here I pretty much rigged and posed Helios in Maya. And of course, rigging is a whole new process. It's a whole process on its own. Rigging is important for me because I use it to pose my characters. All right. So there's Helios in action yet again. Every part is doing what it needs to be. Some parts are glowing, some parts are highly reflective, and some are bending light, which is obviously the glass on the wings, you know, all that stuff. So as you can tell, all that work was good. Like, it was worth it, man. I'm ready to do my next Transformer, which will be coming soon, probably somewhere next year. So here's Helios, guys. So what we're about to go to next is what Helios looks like in rigging form. So I'll show you guys what he looks like as a finished product, as a finished piece that an animator can use, all right, in Maya. And here's the last image, and then we're done with the renders. Alright guys, so here we are back in Maya, but only this time Helios is ready for action. Literally, alright? So this is what Helios looks like in Maya when he's ready to be animated and rendered. Alright? You'd also notice that this particular Maya file that I have set up, I made it so that you can separate the materials. So you see how these are all the Kitbashing pieces. So all those pieces that I did in ZBrush, here they are. Okay. Here's also the glass armor. Here's the Chromeball armor. The highly reflective pieces. And here's the base metal. All right. So this is pretty much all. You guys can actually see the textures too. All right. I'm using Viewport 2.0, so you can see pretty much what it looks like. So anyways, yeah, so again, when I'm showing you guys this, please don't say, this isn't what it looks like when it's rendered. Obviously it would actually look a lot better. This is pretty much what it looks like in Maya when it's not rendered yet, when it's ready to be animated, when it's ready to be going, like when it's ready to be used for production. This is what it looks like. If I click render, then obviously it's gonna look real good. It's gonna look like the renders that I showed you guys a couple minutes ago in Maya's mental ray. Okay, so anyways, here's Helios all finished here in Maya, all ready to go for animation and for VFX. Here's the rig. So let's go over the rig as always. So let's start with the head, or the master control, I mean. So you'll notice that I have two sets of offsets. Or I have an offset right here. See that? And I have the master control right here. I have the feet controls right here. Check it out. So these are all rigged in IK. I still needed to get used to creating IK and FK, you know, switch. So, but I've done it before, so I'll do it. Hopefully I'll implement it next on my next character. I got the standard foot roll right here. So this is a must for any rig. And it's slowing down a bit. Let me So that's the foot. Here is the knee control. there's so many parts going on that's slowing down, like the rig. So there's the knee, aim. Here's also here's the hands. So you got the standard control for the hands. You got the fingers curling, opening up. Of course, you can do that for each one, like the singles. You can also move the arm in IK. Hell yeah. Let me check if... Okay, cool. And here's the standard center of gravity control, which controls pretty much the body here. Let me there you go. Center of gravity control. So if he's about to jump, you can simply just animate this to like this pose right here, and then he can jump. And then here's the lower body control. You can twist and everything is slowing down pretty much. Here's the upper body control, which is the same thing, but it applies to the upper body. See that? And here's also a close-up of the railgun that he has on his left hand. Check it out. Looks awesome. And you have obviously the wings right here. Now for the wings, I didn't make the wings so that it can flap. I didn't make controls for that. The only purpose of the wings is for aesthetic. But you can actually control the wings using this rotation right here. Using the clavicle control right here. See that? So notice how the shoulder blade right here is actually being controlled too. See that? I'm so glad that I self-taught myself rigging, because rigging, it may not be as creative, but it's something necessary for character models, because you can actually do some really cool things when something is rigged. Alright, here's also the head. And here's the neck. So same thing, you can rotate too. I think that's it, guys. Here's also the elbow control. So it's pretty much a standard rig. I also implemented a glow control. If I could just click on that. Oh, actually it's right here. I remember. Or maybe not. I implemented a glow somewhere so you could control the glow of the body. Here's the eye glow. It's on 3.5. What else? I could have sworn I implemented. Oh, there you go. Yep, body glow too. So this controls the intensity of the glow on some of the parts, like right here. So yeah, that's that, guys. So now let's move on to the transformation. All right. So if you guys want to see this transform, stay tuned. All right. So let's do that right now. All right, guys. Just to finish this video off, here we are back in Maya again, but this time we are. I'm about to show you guys the transform. All right. You guys can actually see this thing rendered, so it looks good. And my fan page, if you guys look at one of the demo reel versions that I uploaded, you guys can actually see Helios doing his thing at the end of the video. But here's the Chromeball. As you can see, it's separated into pieces. You can obviously tell Helios is tucked inside. So here's X-ray. So here's pretty much what it looks like. See that? This isn't playing in real time, by the way. I'm just scrubbing through the timeline right here. But that's pretty much the transform. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I believe I achieved what I wanted to achieve with Helios. I created a successful looking character that looks like a god in machine form. So you can obviously tell that I emphasized a lot on its theme, which is light. You have, you know, you have glass parts, you got mirror like parts. He even has a light cannon as his left arm. So anything light related is on this character, and I think I achieved his aesthetic. And of course, him being like a godlike, I of course had to include wings, otherwise it wouldn't be the same. And the fact that he stands for light, it's cool because, like I said, he transforms into a Chromeball, which is a vital tool used by you know, VFX artists. And one thing I actually didn't mention on this video until now is that Helios, aside from all the backstory that I shared with you guys on what Helios is all about, Helios was actually something dedicated to my 4 years in the Art Institute of Los Angeles. Through the Art Institute of Los Angeles, I learned a lot of visual art, and it really enhanced me as an artist. So I'm not just stuck on masks. Alright? Masks, as you all know, is just a hobby for me. I'm not doing it professionally, and I never will. It's just something I do in my own personal time. While something like this is something I want to do as a career. So the reason why I made Helios transform into a Chromeball is pretty much like a dedication to VFX and 3D art, because like I said before, the Chromeball is used as a tool in VFX and 3D art as a way to get reflections. Alright? The reflections on the Chromeball will be extracted from the picture and will be turned into an HDRI that's unwrapped. And you're actually going to use that to map onto your 3D model as the reflections. And I know it doesn't make any sense for any of you, most of you, most likely. But let's just say, to keep it in simple terms, the Chromeball is used as a very important tool in all things digital and VFX. All right. So Helios is pretty much my dedication, and it's pretty much a homage to VFX and 3D art. Not to mention, it goes well with the theme of Helios. Helios being the god of light, and the Chromeball actually looks like the sun to some extent. So, but yeah, that's that. Hopefully you guys enjoy this video. Alright, if you guys do, please leave a like. Remember, leave a comment too if you guys like. Remember, you guys can ask me anything, I'll definitely answer it. Alright, send me an email, comment on this video, or send me a message on my fan page, and I'll get back to you guys soon. Alright, and as always, when it comes to my long videos like this, please always check the description because it has more info in there. Okay? So never forget to check the description of my videos. Because it does include the backstory of the character, what the character is about, and some important links. Alright? And speaking of important links, please like my fan page. If you guys haven't already, please show your support by liking my fan page on Facebook. That'll be www.facebook.com/JuanFreakShowCaparis. Alright? And also, please check out my website where you can see all of my art. What am I about as an artist? That'll be www.JuanFreakShowCaparis.com. And please follow me on Twitter if you guys have Twitter, so you guys can get exclusive updates on my art almost every day. That'll be www.twitter.com/EvilSlaughter13. Alright, and please don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube. If you guys enjoy my videos, I'll definitely have more of these videos as time goes by. Alright, so is that it? Yep, that's it. That'll be it, guys. Thank you for watching. Thank you all for the support and the likes. It's just magnificent to have an audience like you guys. I'll see you guys on the next video.